Welcome, everybody, to our webinar series here. I'm here with Eyal Benishti, who is the CEO of IRONSCALES. IRONSCALES is a recent partner of ours, partnering on email security with our Endpoint solution suite. Eyal, thanks. Really appreciate you taking the time with me today.
Thank you, Marcin. Glad to be here.
So, tell us a little bit about the beginnings of IRONSCALES. Obviously, you're the founder. What inspired you to start the business? How has that mission evolved over time? Just tell us, the genesis.
Yeah, so before I was guys, I was a security researcher, malware analyst, doing a lot of reversing, and realized that most of the good stuff is coming over the email. But at the same time, while the security security control failed, people were kind of rising into the occasion and were doing a very good job, especially friends of mine that knew that I'm reversing for a living. They sent me some email saying, "Hey, what do you think about this email? Is it legit or not?" And I gave them some, basic principles about phishing and stuff like that. And at some point, the guesswork stopped, and they started kind of sending me emails with more kind of certainty about, "Hey, look at this kind of phishing email that I got." And then it was like my aha moment to say, "Hey, people are, they have a pretty good kind of natural ability to detect fraud and social engineering scams." So I thought, hey, that might be a good idea to kind of start a company that kind of brings together technical controls and human controls in order to build something that is much, much stronger than what is out there right now.
Well, you certainly timed it right with email security threats becoming, extremely prolific. W- w- why start an email company in such a commoditized space? I mean, obviously, you felt the competitors were not doing a great job.
Yeah, back then, secure email gateways kind of were dominating the email security kind of world with a kind of gateway level solution. But the threat landscape started to evolve, and it was kind of evolving at scale. Back then, we didn't have a good name for that, but now we call it business email compromise and federal compromise and all these kind of things. And but it kind of the center of these threats, it was pretty obvious that you can't stop bad emails from the gateway. We have to go downstream to the mailbox. We have to understand human behavior. We have to understand language and be able to extract intent and not solely relying on indication of compromise, the bad links and the bad attachments. So we've done that. AI was in kind of in its very early days, but we were able to kind of put all these things together and basically prove that we can detect a lot of the things that the secure email gateways are missing.
Yeah, makes sense. So obviously, our partnership is relatively new. We did a bake-off with a ton of vendors in the space, and ultimately ended up picking IRONSCALES because of the effectiveness and the team that you had built. Incredibly strong, great partners. But what excites you about this partnership most, especially as we bring sort of redefine how we bring email to endpoint customers and trying to build that all in one suite?
It's a good question. I think the thing that excites me the most is that we have one loop, not two tools. It's like, we see the fish, we see the process, we shut it down. So eventually we are collapsing two silos, email and endpoint, into one defense loop. So when a fish lands or a user clicks, our joint solution can share signals instantly, email intent, identity, and channel context from IRONSCALES with device, process, network behavior from the Malwarebytes solution, the ThreatDown solution. That means that we don't just detect faster, we decide and act faster. That way to retract the message, isolate device, revoke tokens, and close the loop in one play. And the business outcome or the end result is less dwell time, fewer tickets, and measurable MTTR reduction without changing MX records or adding any more complexity.
Well, we're obviously our own customer as well, and I continue to see a bunch of uh, fish attacks or phishing attempts blocked by the email solution that we've obviously integrated. But our IT team or security team loves just seeing that full feedback loop as well on everything we've built together. All right, on to my favorite topic, which is AI, and obviously has become a marketing buzzword. And I know you walk the halls of RSA every year, and every year there's some other application of AI, machine learning. But walk us through how, and obviously there's real applications of AI in security because, both of our companies have done so. But walk us through how you use AI within your platform and your operations.
So we use AI, or we started using machine learning. AI is the implementation that came after, but we started to use machine learning, as I mentioned, at the mailbox level to basically model what trusted behavior looks like. When Marcin is sending emails to his executive teams or to one of his partners or vendors or or etc., how it's normally look like, what trusted communication look like, and then look for deviation and anomalies outside of that. Machine learning is very good at that. Like, it's very good in kind of like, finding patterns and helping to find kind of anomalies and deviations from these patterns. So this was the first thing, like, profiling users in a good way and finding kind of, when we believe that something is kind of a little bit off track. The second, which is now something that everyone knows very well, but it wasn't that common or popular like 8 years ago when we started using it, is LLMs. Like, we started with a very small basic LLMs, and it was a great tool. And again, AI and machine learning are tools; they are not solutions. But it was a great tool that helped us to really extract intent out of emails. Like, we were able to throw a lot of examples of what BC looks like, what a fake invoice or fake wire request normally look like, and the machine was doing an amazing job generalizing and help us finding the new trending kind of BC and VC attacks. So these are kind of examples to two tools that we're able to put together, bring together. On top of that, obviously, we have the community, a very strong community of more than 30,000 kind of security practitioners using our tools and contributing real-time threat intel that is kind of, digested by ML as well and being pushed back to the product, what we call an adaptive AI. Okay, we are big kind of believers in the human and machine kind of interactions. So our adaptive AI is something that is a living, breathing kind of solution that brings the superpower of ML and AI and the superpowers of humans, kind of putting them together and creating something that is greater than its parts.
Well, it's using AI against AI, right? Because these attackers are now able to use the, LLMs to more quickly draft emails, blast out those emails, across different industries, different targets. So
Yeah.
we've got to use it to. Do you think there's misconceptions or with AI in cybersecurity? I mean, obviously, I say it's a buzzword. I say that tongue in cheek a little bit. Obviously, there are real applications, but do you feel like there's other misconceptions of AI in security?
Yeah, I think to your point, like, just throwing AI or machine learning on a problem won't necessarily solve it, even if you're doing it the right way. I think that the first question when someone is telling me that they're using AI, I'm asking them, tell me how you're doing AI. Okay, what's the actual kind of implementation? It's super important. I think that even with our customers, they're becoming much smarter in asking the questions and knowing what AI can and can't do for them. Um, so yes, AI can be a buzzword, but AI is an amazing tool that if it's being kind of utilized properly, and if you understand the limitation of AI, we can talk a lot about the limitation of AI. It's definitely something that you need in your toolbox. You can't use rule-based solution only anymore. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight because, like you mentioned, Marcin, like, the bad guys, the bad actors are already using and leveraging AI on the offensive side of the house. So we are kind of being forced or pushed into using AI on the defensive side of the house, not to mention all the agentic AI that's
Yeah.
currently happening, which kind of pushes to the next frontier, what we call phishing 3.0. And again, we can talk a lot about phishing 3.0 and the future of phishing and social engineering.
Yeah, I think it's all, as you said, down to the application of AI. My doorbell camera just launched an AI feature, and now it wants me to interact with the doorbell. I don't even know what that means, to be very, very honest, but guess I should try it maybe after our webinar here. But so we talked about application of AI, to some of these problems that you just identified. How do humans still remain relevant? Obviously, you came from a threat analyst background. You know that with every tool, you still need humans, making judgments and helping kind of refine those models. How do you feel the human element in threat detection and response is still relevant and will continue to be relevant?
Yeah, AIs are becoming super smart. Like, now we see like the GPT's kind of numbers keep kind of going up with some reasoning and agentic capabilities. And I think it's pretty clear now that AI will become smarter and smarter. But at the same time, it's clear that in many cases, and we're seeing a lot of vendors kind of backing it into their product, that there is a real need for a human in the loop in many cases. So AI, yes, AI can solve 99 point something percent of all the things that we will throw at that. And like we said, kind of generalize and work with a huge amount of data. It never gets tired. It doesn't need coffee or time off or anything like that. But at the edge cases, AI still needs human help when things are kind of like, just a little bit out of what is kind of what it's being trained on. I think one of the most important thing is how to teach AI when and how to ask for human help. We're a big believers. This is how we created the platform from day one. Like, we always saw AI as something that is working alongside with humans. Yes, it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting. It's doing most of the decision even for our customers, but it's not doing all the decision for our customers. It's just smart enough to know where to kind of call the human and say, hey, I need help. I need more context. So I need you to make a decision so I can learn from it. But I don't see any time soon where kind of AI can completely replace humans. Maybe on a level one kind of entry
Yeah.
level kind of type of roles, but level two and three, it's still a TBD. I think that level three will take a long time, but we
Yeah,
are seeing the change happening. Yeah,
completely agree with you. I think there's somebody, somebody there to tame the AI and point it in the right direction and really use it to enable, threat detection and response. I mean, I think that's, and we continue to do so on the EDR side, the MDR side.
yeah,
The more we can catch with automation and reasoning, I think is best for our customers too, right? Um,
absolutely.
Sort of in the same vein, our combined solution on the ThreatDown platform really emphasizes ease of deployment and management. And just security is hard. I'm a big believer in that. We started the business from a consumer security perspective, so we kind of get it. We know what, small, medium businesses are really dealing with, managed service providers are dealing with. Why do you think simplicity is so critical in any cybersecurity solution, let alone, endpoint and email?
It's a great, I believe that simplicity is a security control. Like, in security, simplicity, it's not a UX preferences. It's an actual control, and every extra change, rule, and reroute is another place to break at the end of the day. Delay, misconfiguration, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think with a joint solution like ours, it's term protection, without the need for MX changes and stitching emails with endpoints and stuff like that into a more automate and obvious kind of actions. That means that that means hours to value instead of weeks, fewer tickets, faster containment when seconds matter, like with phishing. Like, it takes 82 seconds on average for someone to interact with a phishing email. So I think from simple deployment, broader adoption, fewer gaps, and better outcome for our customers at the end of the day.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I think we both have seen so many, customers that use legacy solutions that have hundreds of configurations, none out of the box, uh, and the customer ends up, breached or one of their users clicks a phishing email, enters their credentials, et cetera, right? Like I just feel,
Yeah,
security continues to get harder. Simplicity. I'm not saying, just a protect me button, but if that's what a customer wants, that's what a customer should get from a provider. But with all the underlying configuration still exposed if necessary, right? I'm a big believer of trying to simplify this for our customers because they have neither the talent nor the expertise in, especially in, small, medium business, right? And even managed
yeah,
service providers, as you know, many of them were mom and pop repair shops down the street that have entered, the MSP space. Security is one sliver of that. They're doing a lot more, right?
yeah.
So keeping it simple for that. You mentioned, I think you said Fish 3.0 or Phishing 3.0. I feel like you need to explain what 2.0 is for me first, but tell me about what you're seeing sort of in the market, in the cybersecurity landscape, what Phishing 2.0 is, what Phishing 3.0 is going to be, and how you guys are solving it.
So phishing 1.0 is the what we call kind of the legacy world of the bad links and bad attachments, some spam filtering kind of capabilities. Phishing 2.0 is what IRONSCALES basically pioneered and started about a decade ago, which means the really bad emails have no links and no attachments in them. It's kind of it's an attempt to break or hack the business process, like make someone wire money, pay invoices, buy gift cards, do all this kind of great stuff that basically helps bad guys make money. Phishing 3.0 is a quantum leap in terms of what this kind of how these attacks are going to look like. In Phishing 3.0, we are identifying that threat actors are already leveraging the multimodality capabilities of generative AI, because now AI is becoming generative AI. It's kind of the new AI. And generative AI can write amazing emails, but it can clone voices and it can even clone videos and jump on Zoom calls and team calls and look exactly and sound exactly like the
Yeah.
CFO or the CEO of the company. And it can all be agentic, just to add on some more complexity on top of that. Like, no, AI agents can basically plan, do the ideation, write emails, cloning, even develop the fake landing pages
Yep.
they can write code and do all this kind of amazing stuff with a simple prompt. Hey, your goal is to go and hack into acme.com. So phishing 3.0 is exactly this. It's the fact that threat actors are going to use deepfakes. They're going to use multi-channels, not just email, not just text. And they're going to use all these modalities together in a very structured, smart way where someone will send an email to one of your employees saying, look, impersonating Martin and saying, hey, I need you to urgently go and do something. Then they will hear your voice on a voicemail or get a kind of a message from you. Hey, I need you to jump on a call with me right now, right away. They will see you. They will be 100% sure it's you, and you will be asking them to do stuff they are not supposed to do. So the complexity of phishing 3.0 is going to be massive. I think the potential risk and damage for businesses is going to go exponentially, and it's all going to be on steroids because AI agents are going to kind of run all these attacks autonomously.
Yeah, already happening even to, my business and I'm sure your business, we are targets just like every other business out there. And
Yes.
it's interesting to see, in the Slack channels or, how many times people get a text message from me asking to buy gift cards or get on a call immediately. I mean, it's a real problem. And, obviously I've been in security a long time. You've been in security a long time. You've seen the evolution of this space. Um, I hate to say it this way, but it's hard not to be impressed by some of the creativity of these threat actors. Do you have sort of a horror story or like the worst thing you've ever seen out there, or even some trends? Like, what would you share with our audience as something that piqued your interest?
Yeah, I think we are seeing a lot of kind of things that were seen as very kind of futuristic, like maybe a year or two ago, where help desks are now being targeted with deep fakes, kind of asking them to reset passwords and do all these kinds of things. So a lot of stories about, again, people kind of being 100% sure that they were speaking with a high-profile individual from the
Yep.
organization, but it was an AI, it was a bot, it wasn't that person. We just ran an amazing kind of survey with 500 organizations. Companies are already losing, on average, $150,000 from the beginning of this year to kind of this type of attacks, and we know that it's going to escalate. The way we see it is going to be the next epidemic in terms of cybersecurity and how threat actors are going to kind of, again, leverage and use this new technology in order to do what they do best. We already see these kits on the dark web, so they're selling these capabilities
Yeah.
now. So the most kind of scary stories these days are attacks that are AI generated, whether they are emails or deepfakes. They're just being generated by AIs, and no human is required. I don't think that the bad actors are using a lot of human in the loop for these cases, which is getting a bit scary.
No, for sure. And obviously we see this, continuing to just get worse and worse. And look, I think a lot of it has to be cultural as well. As much as, IRONSCALES and ThreatDown can protect customers 99 and however many nines you want to put, we'll never say 100% because
Yeah,
that's the industry, right? Anybody that says that is just deceiving. But it's got to be a culture, right? It's almost a badge of honor at ThreatDown if you get a text message from me or an email from me and you share it on our Slack channel and say, look, I didn't fall for it. It's almost a badge of honor to receive one of those. And it's got to be that cultural as well, right? Building that from the top. I tell people I will never be upset if you want to come to my desk and say, did you send that email or did you make that call? Because to your point, they're coming after you via email. It's now, real people's faces and their voices. It's just,
yeah.
you can't believe anything anymore, right?
Yeah, we are
Um,
big believers in the behavioral and the cultural change that you just mentioned. Part of our platform was designed to do exactly that. Like, this is the part that we are now working together
yeah,
to integrate the phishing simulation and training and the
yeah,
awareness part. Super important because, again, like you said, we can put all the technical controls possible out there and fine tune them to the end degree, at the end of the day, they will always find a way to kind of make something that can pass through all these defenses, land in somebody's inbox or mobile or whatever, and get get things done that way. So people. This is they're
Yep.
the last
Oh,
kind of
it's
the last line of defense.
yeah, exactly. The weakest link too.
They can be whatever you choose. They can be the weakest. They can be the strongest. We are
Yep.
trying to kind of build and enable them to be the strongest by reporting. Hey, I saw something in my inbox that based on what I've learned and what you taught me, is probably malicious. And again, by reporting that and by kind of giving them this immediate gratification, rewarding them for doing the right things, we're helping to build this kind of culture and behavior of people are part of the solution. They are not the problem. This is
Yep.
what we are keep kind of the message we keep hammering and bringing home with our customers.
No, it's great. So, Al, what advice would you have for customers, managed service providers that are still using legacy endpoint, legacy email solutions, over the next decade, maybe not even that's actually a long time in security, as you and I
Yeah.
both know, but over the next couple of years, as they're still using those solutions, what advice would you give them?
I would highly encourage them to kind of try the new generation of the solution, like the two and the threes out there. Yes, AI can be a little bit intimidating and sounds like a Chinese whisper to some degree, but give it a real chance, give it a real try. You will see your operational efficiency kind of improving dramatically. You will see risk kind of dropping in a significant way. You will be able to serve more customers. If you're an MSP, you will feel that you will see the magic of AI kind of doing a lot of the heavy lift for you. And just do it. Switch. The transition is very very simple these days. Like deploying a solution like IRONSCALES and Bytes is very very easy, simple. It's easier to maintain, and it will give you kind of the peace of mind that you need in order to run your business, make profit without kind of being called every 2 minutes for a fire drill to put out a fire somewhere.
Yep. Well, words of wisdom from Eyal Benishti, from CEO of IronScales. Eyal, thanks so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. I really, really great insight into email and beyond.
Thanks, Marcel.